Oh, I got some juicy news for you. Profit First app version 2.0 is here. With an enhanced user experience and video guidance throughout, you can now be even more confident in your Profit First implementation. Plus, listeners who work with a certified Profit First professional get extra benefits. Check it out now at www.profitfirstapp.com.
Hey, accountants and bookkeepers, Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals. Need you to go to bill.com/grow. Yep, you heard me, bill.com/grow. And when you sign up for a demo, you will get a $250 gift card. Yep, we use bill.com over here at Profit First Professionals. Why? Because it streamlines our repetitive tasks. It allows us to put the AP and AR and business expenses on autopilot. And for a limited time, when you take a demo at bill.com/grow, you'll get a $250 gift card of your choice. Terms apply. Get started today.
Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now,
on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
Today is nothing different than before. I mean, we always talk about growing your business, but it's a very different subject. We're talking about AI and how you can use it to grow your business. So this is going to be a treat. Plus, Ron has an insider access, and I got a GMAT Now task.
I'm going to give my insider access right now. And that is to pick up a copy of Mike's book. It is one of your best books, if not your best book. I told you the other day, I opened it up, I read the first chapter, and I haven't been able to put it down. It is such a good book, Mike, that everybody who hears me should be buying this book, and not only for themselves, but if you're an owner of an accounting firm, bookkeeping firm, anybody who's listening to us, this is great for your employees, right? Your employees learning the system, being healthy, being financially fit. I mean, they're going to do a much better job for you. So I just really wanted to thank you for writing this book.
I am honored. Thank you for those kind words. That's actually a good little subject before we kick into the interview with Peter McCarroll today. A favorite book? Do you all have a book that you default to, that you hearken to, particularly outside of our domain? I'm just curious. Liz, Ron, what do you got?
How to Win Friends and Influence Others by Dale Carnegie. It's a book that I've been reading I was reading it every other year for a couple of years. And, I give that book out to mostly kids, kids of mine, early on and around the high school age.
Yeah, that is a great one. What about you, Liz?
The 4 Agreements.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I give that that's part of my high school graduation gift for students as well, similar to Ron. So
I will tell you something I got right here that I read every so often is Rumi's work. This is poetry, classic poetry, and it's just really fascinating stuff. Rumi's a very
I thought it was going to be a Playboy.
There you go.
I had to bring it back down, guys.
Oh, Ron.
What's your favorite book, our listeners? We want to hear from you too. All right, let's get right into it, because this subject is going to blow your mind, and it is the future is now. His name is Peter McCarroll. He is an AI skill development coach. He is a certified public accountant, not just in Canada, but also in New Zealand. He's a Profit First professional with a passion for helping e-commerce folks online and skilled trade entrepreneurs build profitable businesses. He's a recipient of the Xero Most Valuable Professional MVP Award. Peter combines deep accounting expertise with innovative tech insights to guide business owners towards smarter and more sustainable growth. No further ado, the man himself, Peter McCarroll, welcome to our show.
Oh, hey, so good to be with you guys.
Excellent. So happy you're here, Peter. So good to see you. Always.
We're going to be talking about AI. I'm just curious. You just shared you did a trip to Japan. You're now in Wellington, New Zealand. Have you noticed how your experience as a consumer of travel, food, whatever, has been influenced by AI?
In terms of travel and food, not yet. One of the things we were just talking about was in Japan, this is this ancient culture, but technology is absolutely everywhere. I went to buy an ice cream. We just come out of this beautiful little temple, big temple actually, in Narita. So it's the city right beside the airport that most people fly in and out of, and no one stops there. So there's no tourists. But yeah, we came out of this amazing temple, and there's an ice cream vendor. They sell ice cream, coffee, and beer, as you do in Japan. But in
Of
order to get
course.
my ice cream, I had to go to this little machine and punch my order in and put my money in and get the ticket and give it to the person to actually make the ice cream. And
Mm.
I was amazed that in this little ancient little setting with this temple that had been there for hundreds and hundreds of years, that there was technology embedded right into that small transaction. This blend of ancient and technology, and the AI. It's not this thing that's going to take a decade to implement. It's a freight train that's running through everything we do. And if you don't see it today, you're going to see it in 6 months. It's gonna be in fact impacting everything we do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
One of the things that I talk about was AI is here now. But how did our audience react when outsourcing first came? How did the audience react when cloud, right? Intuit in the cloud? History repeats itself, guys, right? The cloud's already old. AI is here. How are you? And Peter, what do you say to those folks that are worried about AI?
Well, there's good reasons to be worried, but there's also good reasons to embrace it. And it's going to happen whether we like it or not. It's like those people that said cloud accounting was a fad and no one would adopt it. Well, those people are now out of business. And that's going to be the reality of AI. Can you run a business today without AI? Of course you can. Will you be able to run a business without using AI in 2 years from now? Well, you're going to be at a huge cost disadvantage, which is going to ultimately put you out of business. So if you don't get on board, and this is the crazy dilemma, the thing that could kill your business is probably the only thing that can save your business.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, how do you
Mm.
forecast that they could save businesses? Because it feels like it's a full replacement.
Yeah, well, so we're not at the point yet where AI is necessarily going to mean we don't need humans. Okay, and I don't have a crystal ball, but that might be coming. We don't know, but at the moment, AI is a really good supplement to skilled labor that we already have, particularly knowledge-based labor. Okay, it speeds things up significantly, and it can take some of those time-consuming things that we do and help us get more done with less resource or the same resource. That's the way I look at where AI is coming in our business, especially as accountants and bookkeepers and coaches. Is it going to take away our bookkeeping work? Yeah, probably. Is it going to take away the knowledge we give our clients? No, probably not. But is it going to allow us to be able to get to the same point a lot faster than it used to take us? Absolutely.
Mm.
So
Mm.
how
You
would you?
pres-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Liz.
I was going to say you presented, Peter. You were very, very kind and generous with your expertise here, and shared during our Designer Days trip in May,
Uh-huh.
and it was really, really helpful. I'm wondering, we talked about many different things that you already broached, but what was some of the feedback that you got or questions that you got after that from members that gave you pause or gave them some hope? Because I'm sure people like ambushed you afterwards a little bit.
Yeah, so we're still in this mixed mode where there are some people that haven't really done a lot with it yet, and
Mm-hmm.
there are some people that are really excited and getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
My firm, we do the whole gamut. We do bookkeeping, we do accounting, we do business coaching. Bookkeeping is the area where I would have to say it hasn't really had a huge impact yet in the transactional accounting space. It hasn't had a huge impact, but we're seeing huge developments in tax tools and accounting tools. I think in coaching, it's going to have a huge impact in coaching. So some of the conversations I had with people, I wanted to understand what were they actually doing. And so, hearing stories of how people were using things like ChatGPT to guide them through a difficult conversation where they had to effectively discipline an employee
Mm.
and to
Nice.
use ChatGPT to actually role play that conversation, and it does a really good job of that kind of work as well. It's not what you think it's good at, but it's actually really good at going through those kinds of mental processes.
So that was a great example, but how do we know where to start? Is there so we're an owner of an accounting firm. Where do I start with AI?
hmm So the first place to always start with is getting a good handle on the large language model tools. So like a Chat GPT, a Google Gemini, Perplexity, a Copilot. I mean, all of these tools are very similar. I won't say they're exact, but they are similar. And being able to just start to learn, how do I interact with the model? How do I talk to it? And how do I do it in a way that's going to help me get better answers? The big mistake a lot of people make is they treat it like Google. We've been trained to put in keywords into Google. Well, that's not how you talk to an LLM. I mean, I always say to people, talk to LLM like you would talk to a 16-year-old. Okay. Assume they're an idiot, because sometimes they are, but sometimes they surprise you. And if you give them really good information, they surprise you with good answers.
Hmm. What about Intuit, Xero down where you are, but all these different platforms, they'll integrate AI, I presume. Do we take their lead? Do we leverage their tools? How does it work with what they're doing?
Yeah. So as accountants and bookkeepers, that is one of the challenges we have, is that we are so tool dependent.
Yeah.
Xero have released a beta product called Jax, Just Ask Xero, and it's an AI integration. You can actually connect it with your WhatsApp. And you can ask it questions, and it'll do simple tasks like give you information. It'll even create an invoice for you, just through a chat interface. It's the first layer of what is possible. It's not very good right now. We don't really use it. We've played with it, but it's not ready for prime time. But it's the first layer, and as they start to deepen. So I think the accounting products have two areas where AI is going to make a huge impact. One is in that chat area, ask questions, gathering information. That's, to be honest, the easy area. The other area is in data automation. So that whole bookkeeping intake, bringing in a bill, making sure it's in, reconciling to bank statements. That's the harder area, and they haven't touched that piece yet. We've really only seen one provider in the marketplace that does accounts payable and receipt automation, do a really good job with AI, and that's Maker's Hub. And they have a good integration with QuickBooks Online. Unfortunately, they don't integrate with Xero, which is my preferred system. But so we're starting to see tools really integrate well, but they're not at the point yet where it's making a huge impact. But it's changing so rapidly. On the tax intake side, and particularly in the US, we're seeing some really good tools come out. So watch the space is all I could say, because the big platforms are going to be the slowest, unfortunately, because they've just got this big legacy of data, and they are the most complex. But what we're seeing is good strides being made by tools on the periphery. And so I think every accountant, bookkeeper needs to be ready to switch tools to a platform that is really getting the handle on how AI can increase their
Would you
data flow.
see picking a platform like ChatGPT or Gemini as part of a technology stack in firms moving forward?
Yes, within reason. So a lot of accounting firms are on the Microsoft platform, and so they already get Copilot built into their suite. And so it sort of makes sense to start with what you've got available. So if you're already on the Microsoft suite, you've got Copilot. If you're already on the Google stack, you've got Gemini. Start with what you've got. Learn how to interact with it. I've got a training course that we can put people through that teaches them not only how to interact with the LLM, but how to start looking at their work. We call it workflow engineering. It's not about prompting. It's about looking at your work and saying, how do I leverage AI to start to automate or support a workflow, a process that I do on my day-to-day job?
Is this
And there's
something that an employee can also do, or
Yeah, absolutely.
should the owner, right? Like we're talking to owners right now, and owners are
Mhm.
talking about, okay, yeah, I can do that. What can the employee do, right? They're the ones that might be out of a job before anybody else is. So, what advice do you have to the employees that are listening to this?
Yeah. So I'll start with the advice to the owner, and we'll go back to the employee. So
Okay.
for the owner of any business, but we're talking to accountants, coaches, and bookkeepers here. Empower your team. Give them permission, but you've got to give them guardrails. So one of the rules that we say for our team is these are the tools you're allowed to use. You cannot put client data into anything other than Gemini or ChatGPT Teams Edition. That's it. You can't load client data into anything else because we can't trust that it won't be trained into their models. So we breach confidentiality. But ChatGPT Teams, that's safe. Gemini within the Google Workspace, that's safe. Okay. So we've told them what they're allowed, what platforms they can use, and we've given them access to that platforms. We've also told them that we want them to experiment. And here's the reality. Your staff are probably already using AI, but they haven't told you they're using it.
Right.
Okay. This puts you at huge risk because if they're just uploading stuff into DeepSeek or into the free ChatGPT, you have no idea what data is being released into the world.
I love
You
that.
So
you mentioned something you were doing with your team before, and you were like testing a process, and you got them to admit that they were using it. And can you tell
yeah,
that story? I'm
so
butchering the
we
story, but I love this story.
yeah, that's fine. So we just started training our team on using ChatGPT. And so I'd made this blanket statement, being the great
Yeah.
leader that I am, that no one is going to get in trouble in our firm for using AI. I want you to try it. I want you to experiment. You have absolute permission. Here, gave them the rules. And I said, no one's going to get in trouble for using AI. Okay, great. Wonderful leadership. Rub my head. Couple of weeks later, we have an in-person meeting. We're doing some team building, a little bit of training and team building. We break everyone up into teams. We give them an exercise, a financial review exercise. And we give them the instructions on paper. And we break them off into teams, and we give them 30 minutes to get together and to review this information and come up with some insights. And one of the teams took out their phones, photographed the piece of paper, put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave them some insights. And I was about to yell at them and said, hey, we didn't ask you to use ChatGPT. We wanted you to use your brains. And then I remembered these words that I'd said to them a couple of weeks ago. And I said, I was just about to tell you off, but I have to commend you. So note to self, with future in-person exercises, give
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah, totally. I
But
love that. They're like,
yeah,
I did it. Oh,
that's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's almost
Yes.
it's not AI is the who and the how now, not just one or
Yes.
the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
okay. So accounting firms, what can they do independent of Intuit, Xero integrating? Can I start exploring an AI implementation of my own that's independent of these platforms and will serve my business?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of, think of it like connecting tissue. Okay. Your accounting system is your skeleton. Okay. It's providing the structure for everything that you do. And you've got other tools that are limbs on that skeleton, like a Dext or a HubDoc or Toast or things like that that are feeding data in. So there's not much you're going to be able to do within that process, but there's lots of connecting tissue. There's things that don't integrate that you could build a workflow that's AI enabled that would help you either do that integration. There's so many great tools out there. You can put Zapier on steroids with AI built in. Okay, there's new tools
Interesting.
like N8N, that are designed from the ground up with AI built in, that allow you to connect what you wouldn't have thought you could connect in the past. But not only that, you could say, okay, I've got a tool here. There's no APIs for this tool. I get this report every week. I have to take this report. I've got to put it into a spreadsheet. I've then got to add up these numbers, and then I have to do a journal. Well, you could write an AI prompt that took that spreadsheet, did all that analysis for you, and output the journal.
Mm.
In fact, you could even have it post the journal into your accounting system if you wanted to spend the time to build that connection. Okay, so AI can and automation can help with that connective tissue in the business.
Are we leveraging AI? Are we going to be relying on AI too much for its validity? Meaning, how do we know it's accurate? How do we know the information that it's spitting out to us is actually good information?
Mhm. So Yes, there's a risk right now. I mean, 6 months ago, we would have been talking about hallucinations,
Mm-hmm.
where AI makes up stuff. We've all heard the stories about the lawyer and the lawyer's brief and all that kind of stuff. That's getting less and less. It's still a problem. We still have to be aware of it. But the new reasoning models that have come out really now have a lot more internal checks and balances. They're not just guessing words, they're actually, so-called thinking through the process and even doing some of their own validation. Now, there are additional steps that you can learn to do when you do a query or a deep research kind of inquiry that can sort of help identify if there are hallucinations in there. But to be honest, most of that kind of stuff I see now is very, very accurate. Yes, it's still early days, but the one of the things is the more you ask questions inside the chat model, the more you preload data into, you start with some simple questions and you build up to the big question you want to ask, the more reliable the responses are. So again, if we treat it like Google and we give it this really short instruction and tell it to go out and do something, you're not going to get the highest quality data. If we either build up we call it context. If we build up the context in our chat session, so that we're helping to understand the sort of things we're looking at and the data sets that should be thinking about, we get much higher quality output when
It's
we
a
actually
funnel.
then
You
do that.
start in the
Exactly.
funnel.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Peter,
right. You're building the layers.
we don't typically like ask esoteric questions in this podcast, but I think it's appropriate here. Moore's law is every 18 months or something is doubling of technology. It feels like it's every day. And so, and maybe that's not true, but my question is, can we as humans even keep pace with these advancements?
Right.
Like every time we implement something new, the system is 10 times better.
That's a huge risk. Earlier this year, I think it was January, Trump was just in. I mean, I live in Canada, so we had all these problems with tariffs. So we had a huge political storm in Canada. So I was getting bombarded with news. And at the same time, I was reading these AI blogs and stuff. And every day there were new announcements on AI. And every
Mm-hmm.
day there were significant developments. And I literally felt like my head was going to explode. I
Mm-hmm.
had, the
Yeah.
political world on fire around me, and the AI world was just popping with new stuff on a daily basis. It's slowed down, thankfully, on both fronts. But there is that risk. I think right now, yeah, so much is happening so fast that if you tried to keep up with it as a regular business owner, you'd be spinning. And so my advice to people is,
Mhm.
look, don't try and keep up. Okay. Yes,
Mm.
things are going to overtake you, but take a position, learn how to use that and implement something. If you try and keep up, you'll do nothing. But if you try and
Yeah.
implement something, sure, you might have to tweak that, but what's going to happen? It's only going to get better. There's a saying in the AI
I love
world
it.
that what we have today is as worse as it's going to get.
Oh,
It's true.
It's only going to get better from
I
here.
like that line.
We
Yeah.
Liz has told me we only have a minute left. I got to ask you the biggest question of all. I know you have a degree in theology, so
Yes.
here is the big one, baby. Is this a blending of theology and machine? Like, what is going on here? Give me the big
Oh, that's
answer.
a deep question. No, it's not a blending of theology and machine. I think it does create some existential questions. I'm not going to go down the AGI question, whether or not, AI will become sentient. But I think it does create some very, important questions that we have to think about the future of work
Yeah.
in our society. That's going to create political division. That's going to create economic issues. It has the huge risk of again being a wealth transfer mechanism, which is good. It can help create wealth, but if it all it does is move from the have-nots to the haves, well, there's an inherent problem there from a societal perspective. So yeah, I think there's a lot of questions we have to ask. We talked last month, at our designer workshops. One of the questions I have is if AI does take over the bookkeeping process, and I expect that it will within 3 years. Okay. So I don't think it's if, it is when. When AI takes over the transactional, 80% of the transactional work, we will no longer have to hire junior bookkeepers. So here's the
Mm.
problem. Roll this forward 5 or 10 years, and we no longer have junior bookkeepers in our firm.
Yeah.
How do we now grow talent if we don't have the training ground of transactional bookkeeping, which is boring but is absolutely essential in developing human skill and knowledge. If we no longer have that available to train people on, how will we hire senior bookkeepers?
We won't.
Yeah, super
Yeah,
interesting
crazy.
question to ponder.
Yeah.
Peter, this
Yeah.
is interesting. I'd love to have you back, and we can just talk about the implications from a theological perspective. Is this the great sim, you know?
I think that's around
Um,
the fire pit with a, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, probably, right, Ron? I think that's
Yeah.
a good call.
Your
Uh,
backyard in September, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, maybe let's do it. Let's do it. Peter,
Yep.
before we wrap it up, I'm sure our listeners would love to learn more. If you share stuff with this, like this with them directly, they would probably want to hear it. Is there a way for them to get hold of you and particularly to sign up for that class?
Yeah. So you can email me, peter@fuelaccountants.com. But you can also go to accountants4.ai. And that's where you'll find out what we've got on offer right now about our training program. We've got something called the AI MBA, which is an AI driven business. It's not a degree, but business engineering that be absolutely amazing for any business coach to be able to use these tools with their clients, or even as a business owner on your own business. And then we also have some accountant specific workflows that we've designed that can assist a virtual CFO firm, a CAS practice in starting to look at embedding AI into their practice. And of course, I can help guide any firm through how we implement AI and take advantage of these amazing new features. And of course,
I'm there right now, and it says 15 minutes. I need more than 15 minutes of your time. Can I go
15
back to
minutes is just to get the ball rolling. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
15
definitely.
minutes is just to get the
Accountants
ball rolling.
for the number 4.ai.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. Peter,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
Peter,
pleasure.
great job.
And a
Oh,
big surprise for our
man.
listeners, that was not the real Peter McCarroll. It was an AI SimBot.
I was gonna say that. He
Oh,
looks so good though. You can tell
I
by
don't
the
know
background.
because he was in Maryland, then Japan, then Canada, then New Zealand. I mean, really?
Or
Is he real-
simultaneously.
Or
There's all
was
his
he?
SimBots going
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Is he
Mhm.
really?
Mhm.
All right. We're going to recap what we learned. Interesting. I don't have pages of notes. I was so engaged. I have very few notes. So
Me
it was
too.
so heavy, this
Me too.
learning. And we're also going to do an insider access and a GMAP now task. Do you want to start off with a trippy question now?
Sure.
What do you got?
So the question today is, if we're sort of talking about the wilderness, the AI wilderness, the future. So this question is, would you likely to survive alone in the wilderness? How
No.
likely are you to survive alone in the wilderness?
0%.
Or how long do you think you could survive alone in the wilderness?
Oh, one night.
One night? That's it?
Do you know the rule of threes?
Yeah.
No, not with survival.
Ron, what's the rule of threes? This is interesting.
3 days water, 3 days shelter, 3 days warmth or something like that. I know it's 3 days
Yes,
water.
no, close. You got the rhythm. So it's 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 hours without heat. That's the warmth. 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. A lot of people die of hypothermia, and when they're looking for water, people are dying of dehydration when they're looking for food. You got to do that sequence.
Yeah.
So-
So wait, so what you got? Three days?
No,
He said
3
one.
hours. I'm telling you, you can have hypothermia in the middle of the summer when the temperature drops if you don't have warmth or protection around you. So I think I would stumble. How about you guys?
I'm good. I
I'm
got it.
dead.
I'll make it. I'll make it. I'm not worried. I'll forage. I'll build my shelter. I'll build my lean-to. I know what I'm doing. I'm ready to rock and roll.
All
Let's
right,
go.
sign up for Naked and Afraid. You're in.
Totally. Oh yes, I want Ron on Naked and Afraid. And I
No,
wanna
you
hear
don't.
him complaining about all the bug bites in all his nether regions, and he's like, "I'm kidding. I can't do it." Nah.
How about you, Liz? Would you make it?
Oh, I'd be dead. I hate camping. So I told you I lied when I started dating Noah. I lied and I was like, I love camping. That sounds great. I hate it. I'm not. No thanks.
Yeah, it gets pretty
I'm-
real out there.
I would love it. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I
Mhm.
get my gear, my knives, my guns, my bows and arrows, my
No.
blades. Let's roll.
I like to hike and then go to my car and go to a hotel.
There you go.
I
There
mean,
you
All right,
don't
what
get
did we
me
learn
wrong.
from
I don't want to
Peter?
go camping. We're talking about survival.
go. Correct. Fair enough. Fair
Liz,
enough.
you go first. What did you learn from Peter today?
So one of the things he said that I really like is because I panic, not panic, but I have anxiety around I can't keep up. Just the way he described
yeah.
it is it
Yeah.
feels like 2025. That's what I feel like. And so I love that line of just take a position.
Yeah.
Just take a
Yeah.
position. And then so it's sort of like thinking of we're all early adopters. And that was one of the things at Designer Days. I think there was one person, maybe two, who raised their hands that said they do not use AI every day in a room of 75, 80 people. And
Yep.
so our group are early adopters. This whole Profit First professionals are forward thinking, strategic, solution focused people. Like it's fun. It's a fun group to play with. But I love that line. It's like, yes, I'm an early adopter, but stay flexible and just take a position. So, choose whatever you want to do and move. It's okay. You'll keep picking it up. Like you'll just
Yeah.
keep picking it up. So I love
Good
that.
insight. Ron, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I love it. And this is applicable to what I was sharing earlier about how how people responded to outsourcing, the cloud, all that great stuff. What will kill your business will more than likely save your business, right? So
That was
if
a
you're
good
looking
line.
at AI as a killer, it's probably going to save you. If you were looking at outsourcing and you did it, it probably saved you. You probably were looking at cloud and you did it, you leaned into it hard, it saved you and you're ahead of the curve. Same thing here.
Yeah.
Good one, Ron. For me, I love the little tip of pick the platform you're ready on, and that's where you stay. So, like
Yeah.
if you're with Microsoft, do Copilot. If you're with Google, do Gemini, because that stuff is integrated, simple, and it keeps you from being distracted. All right, we
Love
want
it.
to know what you learned too to our listeners. So please rate and review the show. That would help us tremendously. But also share your insight because that helps other guests reading the reviews.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, you got insider access for us?
Yep, there you go. Awesome.
Here's
So
lightsaber.
this is what we're doing with AI. We took a page out of Peter's book. Basically, we encouraged the staff to, go for it, to be in it. But what we also did is before we did that, we made sure that the information in the platforms that they were going to be on were guarded, were kept, that it was internal stuff. So we got all of our ducks in a row. And then we said, okay, guys, you want to play, we want you to play in AI. You want to play in AI here. This is your playground to play in it. So choose your playground for your employees with guardrails and fences around it, right? To protect your IP, your intellectual property and everything like that. And then let them have it.
Yep.
Nice. Nice. I also got a GMAP Now task for you. The one little task, if you do this, this will change everything. It is on the AI platform. They mean the collective bodies of the LLM models, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so forth, upgraded. This goes back now a month from this recording. The models and they found that the ChatGPT equivalents were affirming too much. It was like, you got this, bro. Like it was too complimentary.
Interesting.
They had to unwind it, but it still has a bias toward affirming as opposed to challenging. So here's the GMAP Now task. Add one thing, a sentence that says, whenever you type your prompt, say, challenge my thinking on
Totally.
this. And it brings a better perspective.
That's awesome. That's great.
Not only
Nice.
is that great for AI, that is great for just in business. Every owner should be
That's
asking
true.
their staff,
Yeah.
to come up with that and challenge. That's a great job, guys. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, listeners. Don't forget to review and subscribe to the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
Oh,
And Liz, tell us
and-
something exciting here.
And I'm going to tell you something.
Be
If
like
you would
Peter.
like to hang out with the likes of Sir Peter McCarroll, I just served him. I just knighted him. I don't know if he's a knight. Anyone with an accent, I pretend is a sir.
Thank
Peter,
you, my
is
lady.
it true? You are.
Oh, no, but I'll take it.
Okay. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a Profit First professional, hanging out with some really cool early adopters, solution focused people who love profit, who love implementing cool new tools and changing their business for the better, as well as their clients' business for the better, go to profitfirstprofessionals.com, click that book a discovery call button, and you can have a call with Ron. You can have a call with me. We'll share a little bit about what being a Profit First professional looks like and what it means, and we'll see if that can help you achieve your goals. That's it. ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. Thanks, y'all.
Thank
Have a
you.
great one.